Josh Reed here with Matthew Guzman team and Remax Universal. Here today to talk to you a little bit about budgeting. Now, budgeting can be a dirty word for some people because they don't like it. But in reality, when it comes to real estate, budgeting is pretty much the most key component you have. Without knowing what your budget is, you don't know how much home you can afford. A lot of people go into real estate thinking, oh, I'm just going to go online, I'm going to look at some homes, and I'm going to find some pretty homes because I make X amount of money a year, and I figure, well, with everything else, I can afford a house of this much. But the reality is you probably can't, or you can afford more. It just depends on what the lender says your budget is. So your budget's not determined by you. If you're going to get a home loan, the lender's going to be the one to set that. They're going to look at your debt to income ratio. That's how much money you bring in versus how much money you throw away in debt. And they're going to look at what your actual income is and your taxes for probably the past 2 years. And they're going to put it all together, do their magic, and they're going to tell you your budget is X. So if you thought you could afford a $280,000 home, you might be able to afford more, you might be able to afford a lot less. It just really comes down to that. So you need to find a reputable lender you trust, or bank, and you need to do some research and figure out, hey, I'm really considering looking at buying a house. How much money do I need to have for that? Also, you need to figure out how much money you need to budget for down payment and other closing costs. Getting a home loan ain't free. FHAs, things can run about 3.5% or more, just depending on the lender and everything else. And there's a lot of other home buying programs out there as well, and we'll cover those in another video. But as for today, budgeting is very key and very important. So make sure that you're saving your pennies. Make sure that you are, as I've said in another video, asking a lot of questions. Interview some lenders. Don't just go with the first person who says, oh, we give you the best deal possible. Shop around to a couple. Figure out what you got. If you've got a realtor you trust, then you can check with them. They work with lenders. That is our job too, is to work with all the vendors. We have lenders in our pocket that we work with quite often that we trust to take care of our clients. And we also interview lenders for the best deals as well. So if you've got a real estate agent that you're already working with, or if you'd like to work with one, give me a call on that end, and I can hook you up with a couple lenders just to give you some options. But with that, you need to make sure you're saving up money. There's a lot of things you have to budget for. You've got to budget for earnest money. That's your money you're gonna put towards the house you go into contract. Usually about 1%. If you're doing a $300,000 home, it's $3,000 you got to give the title to hold on to. You got to budget for option fee, which is guaranteeing you a set amount of time in the contract to have the house inspected and looked at. You also want to budget for the unknowns. You got to budget for a home inspection. It's about $250 to $350, depending on the house and the inspector. So there's a lot of different things you need to look at. This is probably the most important step of the process. You don't want to go into buying a house thinking, oh, I've got some money in the bank. That's not always going to cut it. You'll be quite surprised that you may not have as much as you need going into buying a home. Another key thing with budgeting: don't do any big purchases if you're thinking about buying a house. One of the worst things you can do is, yay, the bank told me I can afford a $300,000 home. I'm going to get a house for $250,000 and I'm going to go get a $50,000 brand new car. Don't do that, because now you can't buy a house at all, because now your debt to income ratio is completely skewed. And the bank's going to say, sorry, come back in 6 to 12 months, depending on how quickly you can pay that car off or pay it down. So just some solid word of advice. If you're thinking about buying a house and you got more questions, give me a call. But remember, your budget is very, very important, and you need to find the right lender and get yourself the right rates. So look for another video coming pretty soon. I'm going to do one with one of the lenders I work with. I've done one with them before in the past. And we'll give you some more information and some more tips on how, what to go forward with when looking for a lender in the market. So with that, if you have any other questions, like I said, call me, shoot me a message below. And guys, thanks again for watching one of my videos, and you'll have a great, wonderful day. Thanks.